ship is alive?
I have such wonderful things to show you.
Hey, check me out. Ugh.
Check me out. No, check me out. But you know what we should check out? This podcast. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Katie Afraidy on the Fangoria Network. I'm your host, Katie Hettenbach, and I am so delighted and excited to have this human on. He's hilarious. He's the host of the Riff, Raff comedy show, which is at the Comedy Store.
That's true. That's true. Hi.
This is Billy Myers the Third.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you? It's early.
It's 12:30.
I know.
Here, it's too early.
Well, I didn't go to bed till 6 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all the things are happening.
Yeah,
It's been wild nights. So
yeah, we're in
staying up past my old man bedtime lately.
We're in the midst of the Netflix is a joke comedy. So you're a horror fan. Speaking of the thing that we came here to do, you do comedy, but you also like horror.
I do, in fact.
What are some of your favorite horror movies?
Well, see, I the only thing I don't like, I love like psychological stuff. I want stuff that messes with your head. I'm not a big fan of like gory stuff. Mm-hmm. That gets gross. Yeah. And I don't like jump scares. Yeah. Every time I put on a movie, it does not matter. Abigail. And that's not a good reference. That's a good one. But like you'll see like a jump scare movie, and like here's what happens every time. I watch a trailer and I go, oh, that looks like a good horror movie. And I watch the intro to the movie, and it gets about 4 minutes in, right until you get to that point where a normal person would say, don't go in there. And then I turn the movie off and yell at my house for 5 minutes going, no, fuck you, no, bullshit, I'm out. And then I don't watch that movie.
That's
I
fair.
go watch Super Troopers. But I do love like psychological stuff. Like Hitchcock was always amazing. I love some slasher. I like the first slasher movie of every slasher movie except the like Terrifier and that kind of when it gets into gross hacky shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, I said it. But like The Strangers is one of my favorite horror movies because that's that's terrifying in a very like I want a movie where I spend the whole time I want to check my house. Or I don't want to go outside because of it afterwards. Some shit that could really happen.
Yeah. Which this film that you gave me a couple of films.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's do Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Because everyone's been talking about it, and I'm like, well, this won't happen because we won't go to space.
I like this movie for the exact opposite reason I normally like. It cannot happen, thank God.
But also, aliens are real, which we found out.
Yeah.
So that makes things more plausible. And when I think about that now, I'm like, it makes me look at these space movies a little bit different. Men in Black. Men in Black's real. I'm like, they're like, oh, here's a catchy Will Smith song. It's like, no.
Well,
they're real.
I mean, I think it benefits a shadow government. The CIA. I think it benefits all secret organizations to not correct people.
Yeah.
I think you've been to the DMV, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's the same building, just different cubicles. You get what I mean? The employment status. They're not. George H.W. Bush was the head of the CIA. That's not. I'm not believing that's gonna. They can't cover shit up that well.
Yeah.
We've known since all of it happened. I just think they got shit in a shed somewhere that they just keep poking with sticks. And then we're all just like, no, you don't understand. They're secret guys. They come around and they're like shit. Like, and probably, but it's more thuggish than clever.
They storm in here. And then they're like, they're on the ground. You're like, oh my God.
I hope so. I'd like, at least it'd be good to be wrong.
Like, it sucks being right all the time.
Yeah.
But Event Horizon,
Oh my God.
good year, 1997.
Yeah. Yeah.
The year I was born.
Jesus Christ. I was
This
out of
movie's
high school at that point.
This movie's 20, almost 27 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow. But okay, you were in high school. Do you remember seeing it in high school, or did you watch it later?
No, I saw it in theaters when it I saw it it was I remember starting to see stuff about it before it came out because Jack Noseworthy is in it, and for those of you at home or too young to remember when MTV was a music network, Jack Noseworthy was a video jockey. You know, like a disc jockey that makes no sense to call DJs on anything anymore on radio. Radio was a thing. I digress. Anyway, Jack Noseworthy talked in between music videos on MTV. And so MTV tried to hype this movie as well.
Oh God!
Like,
okay.
yeah, so you'd see all these behind the scenes, and they were so proud of the special effects in the movie, like the CGI at the time, because like it was big.
Yeah.
And so they'd show all these behind the scenes things, and Jack Noseworthy's like, this is my first movie, and blah, 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 and he's excited. And then I was like, yeah, that looks friggin' crazy.
And it was. I again, I've heard a lot about this movie, but like I've never seen it. I went in fully blind. I'm like, it's I heard it was a pretty much The Shining in space.
Yeah, it's a haunted house in space.
Yeah. And
that's exactly what it is.
Crazy. The more I keep so I'm not as adversed in sci-fi horror.
Okay.
That's like one that I don't know, it doesn't interest me that much, but
I get that.
but also I should watch it. I don't have any hate towards it. I just
Yeah, well, sometimes with the sci-fi horror stuff it gets so easily dated.
Yeah.
Because they always, like in this movie, the start of the timeline says 2015. And I was like, well, that's not accurate.
You're like, this already happened in 2015? I was like, did we do anything? No, we didn't.
We did not. We did not. They were like, we call it, what is it, colonized Mars or something in 2015. And then like the timeline goes on and I'm like, I don't think we're getting there.
Yeah. But
based
you know,
on, and that's always like a bummer for me in the sci-fi horror stuff is they always try to throw a date, and it's like they used to do like in the year 2000 or like all those like future, and it's like you got to stop predicting. You're not killing it.
It's gonna let you down in the future when we're not colonizing Mars or the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then
we
on
just
top,
haven't made it yet.
You seeing it like for the first time, you're immediately like, there's no suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Because you look at it and it's almost silly.
Yeah.
To think that in 2015, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I was like, oh, did we do anything in 2015? I'm like, no, but let's just like pretend like we did.
Yeah,
okay.
That's that. So now you have to like kind of, okay, well, I guess this is an alternate reality.
Yeah.
You know? But at the time, in 97, that was so far away.
You're like, what?
We're going to definitely go to Mars by then.
Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
We're in Mars. We're colonizing the moon. We're getting up there.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, would you ever want to go to space?
I'm out on space because I'm too busy worrying about the ocean.
Fair.
We've only explored 8% of the ocean, and that's all around us. There's so much water, and there's definitely shit in there. I'm still of the mind that cephalopods are aliens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't need to go to space to figure it out. We got to go down there.
Mermaids.
Yeah, that's real. Well, I also come from Florida, so I've seen sea cows, and those were definitely what people thought were mermaids.
Yeah.
But there was just horny sailors.
Fair.
Just really trying to find something besides one of their crewmates to do it with.
But I think there's something to it though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Know.
Fish people?
The fish people and like the Bigfoot and and the
I think
Loch
a lot of the cryptids are for sure real.
Yeah.
And that stuff fascinates me.
Which some of them I'm like, okay, like there's one that's from Wisconsin specifically called the Hodag.
The Hodag?
The Hodag.
The Hodag.
The Hodag. I'm gonna show
All
you.
right, tell me about the Hodag.
The Hodag. It's basic. Did you ever watch the show Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yeah.
You know the big purple guy?
Yeah.
It's like that, but like he's walking on all fours and has a really long tail, and he's
okay.
green.
That's terrifying.
He's green. This is what he looks like.
That's awful. That's horrible.
This is.
And that was in Wisconsin?
That's. Yeah, so he's in Wisconsin right now. No, but that's the one where I'm like,
just hangs out.
I don't think that's real. I'm like the other ones, like the skinwalk. Those are real.
The skinwalkers?
I'm like, I think those are real.
Yeah, probably.
I don't want to know though. I don't.
But you
wanna
don't
know.
think the Hodag is real?
I don't think the Hodag's real. I think that's one that's not. That seems silly. That'd be silly.
I think it's real.
I think it was.
See, I think all of those things are like those are for sure real.
I think it might. It's. I mean, it's giving dinosaur, so it might have been real, like back in prehistoric times. But I don't think it's real now.
I grew up around dinosaurs. I lived in Jurassic Park as a child. Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, Florida is, yeah.
I've punched an alligator in the mouth. I've like
that checks out.
They're real.
Yeah.
And if that's real, that thing could be real.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
It could have been in your backyard late at night, growing up in Wisconsin.
Hodag.
Anyway, back to Event Horizon.
Imagine so the CGI though, it honestly, besides like the date,
yeah,
this movie could have been made now.
It's not bad.
It's
there
not
are
bad.
some signs where you're like,
Yeah,
okay, this
like,
isn't great CG anymore.
Anything with the like outside
yeah.
of like the ship
yeah.
or whatever, where they're like, oh, let's show the ship exploding.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this isn't real.
Yeah.
But everything else, I'm
It was
like,
pretty good.
I'm like, this isn't bad.
And they also, because it's Paul Anderson, they
Yeah.
did a lot of that, like all of the like creepy faces and stuff. I think
Yeah.
other than like the eye thing where they did
Yeah, the eye
like,
thing was, yeah.
that's CG, but I think like all that's still practical as well. It was
Yeah.
like a weird at the time. I love movies where like that have the combo.
Yeah.
Because I think that's always the best. People shit on CGI, but it's great.
Oh, it is.
And they only complain for like the one time it's shitty. There's so much good CGI that they don't notice in the exact same scene where they're bitching about a CG. So just the hybrid of the two, where you have like a little bit of real world stuff and you spice it up. That's and the 90s. Like the mid 90s was like that time.
Yeah, to
where
start doing that
where
stuff,
they'd have just everything. So it just seemed more in universe.
Yeah, and that like the eye thing was so creepy.
It's terrifying.
And so there's a Disney Channel show that was called Even Stevens.
Yeah.
With and the Halloween episode.
Somebody had no eyes.
It was like the sister Wren was trying to turn everybody else into wrens, and she would take their eyes,
okay,
and they would start drinking milk, and like the big oh shit moment was they take off their glasses and they wouldn't have, like, it would just be,
they'd be gone.
it would just be like the sockets.
Oh,
terrifying.
Yeah.
So I saw that and I was like, not again. I was like, no. I was like, that still freaks me out. I'm like, I know it's Disney Channel, but I'm like, that was fucked up then. That's fucked up in here too.
There's something so like, it's your eyes.
Yeah.
It's your eyes. Like a hollow chasm. Like that's just so. It's one of those skin crawly. Anything involving eyeballs, like any scene in any movie where there's like a thumb in an eye or a thing or something's going toward, I'm out. It's so just, you know how jelly like your eyeballs can get, and it's just it's so vulnerable a part of your body.
There's another show called Untold Stories of the ER.
Oh no.
Have you seen it?
No, I don't do that.
It's so funny. No, because it's actors reenacting it, but the doctor.
Oh, I'm back in.
But the doctors are real.
It's the actual doctors.
But they're acting.
Oh, I'm in.
It's so bad. Yeah. But one of them was this woman's eye popped out. of her socket,
like
and it was just out. Like
It
it
was just
doesn't out like that. It just pops out. Because sometimes they just do that.
Okay.
So they had to pop it back in.
Oh.
But basically, they put a Dixie cup on her eye so that it wouldn't like get.
Yeah.
So she had 2 Dixie cups just taped to her eyes, and the nurse comes in and she like turns and they both fall and she goes, ah! I think about that. I think about that at least like once a week, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just it makes me chuckle.
It's gonna make you feel good.
Yeah, it makes
at
me
least
chuckle.
I don't have Dixie cups on my eyes.
Makes me chuckle. I also love the in the when they're like, oh, we're gonna go to sleep for. I don't understand that where they're gonna sedate themselves for.
Okay, so
In water. Also?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like this felt so very like something else did well.
Yeah.
Like did an Alien movie come out recently at that time?
Yeah.
Or like I can't remember. Like did Alien 3 was that
Maybe.
around there?
I don't know.
Because it has very like specific visuals where it's like very inspired by type of things that make no sense.
Yeah.
And they don't really explain it, but it looks cool.
It does, and that's all that matters. Alien had those pods.
Yeah.
Where they'd go to sleep, but it wasn't. They weren't like.
They're just going to Neptune. Too.
In water. Like they're
Yeah.
like, why are they in what? But then also, why does his name's Neil, right?
Yeah.
I'm so bad with names.
Oh, Sam Neill?
Sam Neill. No, but what was his name in the movie? No, Veer. What was
Billy.
it? Billy.
His name was Billy.
But was it his last
William.
name?
I don't remember.
No, it was Weir.
Weir. Dr. Weir.
Dr. Weir.
I remember that because of Lawrence Fishburne's delightful voice just constantly going, Dr. Weir.
Dr. Weir. His pod was the only one to have his name on it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
That's
why?
weird.
Yeah, I was like, why?
Oh, because maybe he was the only one, because they're a normal crew. They've been working together the whole time.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the only one that wouldn't know where his pod was.
But also you go, hey, that one's yours. I don't.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Maybe they just didn't want to talk to him.
That's fair, because they're like, you're not one of us.
We don't want to be going.
You're different. You're not like us. You don't know what's happening.
He's an outsider to the group. He's new to the group.
Right?
We don't trust him.
Out of here. He's a doctor.
Yeah.
We don't trust doctors.
I mean,
You should.
not scientist doctors,
Not
though.
side, but no. But actual doctors. You should.
Real doctors.
Real doctors. You should go. Go to the doctor. Go to the. Have you been to the doctor? You should go to the doctor. What was that?
That's the more you know.
Oh, I do know that. I don't know this.
We should cut a PSA. Just
PSA.
hi there, everybody. Didn't see you there. Go to the doctor.
Sponsored by your doctor, Dr. Weir.
Sponsored by capitalism.
Sponsored by capitalism. Get over there immediately. Go Oh, when he's in the capsule, there's just when I take notes, it's like very specific moments that just make me chuckle or make me go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
When he's in the capsule and he he gets he drains the water and he gets out and he sees his wife, his dead wife.
Yeah.
Which at the time we don't know. We're like, why does this woman not
just
have
some
eyes?
weird lady.
And then he goes, the way he screams, I laughed. He went, ah.
Yeah.
Ah. I was like,
oh.
ah. It's like, okay, monotone. And then he wakes up again. I was like, that's why the scream was weird, because it's his dream, and you don't scream normally in a dream. That was my logic.
Do you scream often in a dream? Have you ever screamed at a dream? Hey, if you're listening to this right now, comment right now. Did you ever scream in your own dream?
I think I have. I don't know.
I don't remember a single time I've ever screamed in a dream.
I think
this is a weird revelation. Have you ever screamed in a dream? Can you remember screaming in a dream? Can you remember screaming in a dream?
I've tried many times in dreams, but it never comes out.
Right. See? Okay.
I think I
maybe
have.
you're onto something with that's why the scream's weird.
Wait, is that why their podcast is called Scream Dreams? I had it for another podcast called Scream Dreams, and that You can't scream in a dream.
Oh.
Or can you?
Can you?
Google that. I don't know. Is it Google knows? You can scream in a dream. I don't.
That's a bizarre. But yeah, no. Okay.
And then you get anyways, that got me. I was like, that's silly. That's silly, Sam Neill. Also, he's British? Is he actually British?
Yeah, Sam Neill is British. Yeah, Dr. Alan Grant, British.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard him speak other than Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Dr. Alan Grant is British.
That makes so much sense. Because the way he pronounces certain words.
You could tell.
The birds.
Yeah.
It's bird-like. That's the specific word I'm thinking. I'm thinking of him saying birds. I don't know, just that.
They really do move in herds.
Birds, herds, 25. Thank you. I thought you were writing like, oh, yes, they do. They are. Screaming in a dream.
Because you dream during REM, which is when you're like paralyzed by your own mind, it like your body for some reason screaming is the one thing it just doesn't want you to do.
Weird.
I think I've screamed in a dream once. At least once.
You'd be a miracle.
At least once. But I couldn't tell you what the oh my god, speech impediment. The hissing whispers.
Yeah.
Creepy as fuck.
Yeah. The noise scene where you can't see anything and all you can hear is like, that's fucking terrifying.
Like, where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Because you got a giant. This is another issue I have with sci-fi things. Why the fuck is the ship so big? It's huge.
It is a huge ship.
And it's like it's not even like, okay, well, it's not like a big ship, but it's also tall. Like, it's got height.
Yeah.
I was like, that what?
This is a big ass shuttle.
Like, what the fuck?
And the Event Horizon, the ship itself, has a whole separate ship.
Yeah.
Like, part of the important plot is this is a ship, tunnels, and then we have a whole nother ship just for carrying the, what do they call it? The gravity drive or whatever, the dimensional gateway.
Yeah. Why
The
is
Hellgate.
The Hellgate, the ball that has the globe thing that's got
the pinhead ball.
The pinhead ball that that when you stare into it, it gets in your eyes, and then you start seeing dead people.
Yeah.
And you start seeing your kid.
Whole nother ship just for that.
Whole nother ship just for that. Just for that ball. Which, I mean, hey, you got the money for it. Space.
Yeah.
Why not?
Who doesn't want to travel in luxury, I guess. But also, this is where our defense budget goes.
Yeah.
So the thing is, they know at the beginning of the fucking movie that bad shit might be attached to the drive. They're like, here's how bad potentially this dimensional gateway thing is.
Yeah.
We put bombs in the tunnels.
Yeah.
So that in a worst case scenario, we could blow the back of the ship to hell and then just go home in a second spaceship that's just for us. Maybe you shouldn't have built the second half of the ship.
I think you might be onto something.
This is why you shouldn't trust scientists. But doctors are great.
Exactly. Something that drove me freaking bonkers though was when they were going to explode the ship. And he went. Oh my god, what's the actor's name? Fuck.
Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah,
Sam Neill?
Sam Neill, but his name's Miller in the movie.
Weir.
No,
Oh.
Miller and then Weir.
Yeah, Miller and Weir.
Yeah.
Because Fishburne's Miller.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
I don't remember what Baby Bear.
Baby Bear is.
It had a good cast.
Was that wasn't Justin? Was that DJ? There's a lot of people in this cast.
And
what
the
hell?
cast, like Sean Pertwee's in this.
Yeah.
And he's a good actor. What's her name? The blonde lady. She's been in a bunch of stuff.
Stark?
What?
Jolie Richardson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
in
yeah.
she's great cast.
Adorable. I love
in
her.
this movie.
I love her so much. But when Lawrence, aka Miller, is like, oh, I'm gonna go explode the tunnels. You guys go. Like in the
Yeah.
end, the fact that he starts with the bomb closest, and
Really
does
not
it,
smart. Yeah.
I was like, no. You've 8 bombs to get to. Start with the end and work your way back
You'd
so
think
it's
so.
quicker.
Yeah.
But of course, I was like, oh my god, you're gonna die, and then he did because
I mean, in fairness, when you're concerning yourself with a possessed scientist and a demon boat,
Yep.
you're not thinking clearly in terms of a plan.
Yeah.
You know, that's why preparation's important. Ultimately.
Got another cough. Hold on. That was a good one. Thank you.
It's good.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That was a hairball.
No, hairballs will.
You're welcome.
That's a hairball.
You're welcome, Ben. You're welcome, Ben.
ASMR.
You have the immediate transition.
Sorry. Anyway, back to the hell
Anyways,
ship.
back to the hell ship. You have Mama Bear, who is seeing her child,
Yeah.
dead child, alive child. We don't really know.
I think the kid's alive but sick.
But she's like, oh, I'm seeing him on the ship, so obviously it's really him.
Yeah.
And he just, wanted to hang out on the ship. So I'm going to follow him places.
There's a serious lack of. I would have immediately been like, hey, I'm freaking out because I'm seeing my son on the ship.
Yeah. Again, if all these people would have just talked to each other
Yeah.
about this.
Probably could have avoided the whole
Yep,
situation.
yep.
Just gone, hey, I know my kid's not on the boat. That's a problem.
Yeah, but that's also the fun part is that they don't
Yeah,
talk.
they
And
don't. They don't
there wouldn't be a
communicate.
movie if they didn't talk.
But that's every haunted house.
Yeah.
That's most haunted house movies would be immediately fixed if everybody would just go, hey, weird shit's happening, right? We're all gonna leave
we should
now.
leave. They're like, but it's a nice, but look at the.
But look at the property value.
There's so much square footage. Like, I
Hey!
gotta look at the ceiling height.
I got a shitty job and gambling debt. We're keeping it.
It's amazing. Did you see the air ducts? They're green.
Hey.
They're green with light. That was my favorite scene.
Oh, when he goes into the tunnel.
It's so
the
pretty.
scenes.
It's so pretty.
The sets
Yeah.
in this movie that they built, like that gravity drive thing is real.
Yeah.
They built that.
Yeah.
That's insane. And I want to be
Yeah.
in that room. Also, when you're building a trans-dimensional gateway, you're a scientist and you're like, hey, we're going to build an engine to a ship.
Correct.
An engine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we need is to make it as horrific looking as possible.
Of course.
Let's add a bunch of metal spikes on the walls for no reason.
Yeah.
They're just big pointy spikes and a lot of Celtic druid-like, rune carvings all over it. I think would really I know it's not necessary for the science, but aesthetically, I enjoy the vibe of industrial fear.
Yes.
You know what we also need? Like a magic mirror tunnel tube to go through it that's surrounded by knives and saws. That would be great to get into the engine of the ship to do anything. Let's make it a horrific nightmarescape to look at.
Yes. All of that. And then also
Then nobody questioned that doctor's psychiatry. Do you Sam Neill designed that room. They got to the room and didn't immediately go, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Why did we make it so scary? I'm out.
Why is there water? Just randomly.
Right. What is the water for? Looks beautiful, though.
Oh, it's great.
The
It's
sets
so
are so
stunning.
good. That whole green where he's climbing through,
It's
Alan
so-
Grant's climbing through the green lights
Yeah.
and then sees his fucking weird dead wife. Fantastic
So
visually.
good. So good.
Makes no goddamn sense.
It doesn't, but I love it. And
Yeah.
but again, like the same with Alien. Like Alien's such a wet movie.
Yeah.
Like they're like sweating, like they like it's just it's dripping.
Yeah.
So apparently space is wet.
Yeah.
Is what they've established, and it's still going.
Well,
with
I
that.
think it also adds to the tension.
Yeah.
I think this whole movie is basically a constant stream of things that make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's never full on like, oh God, this is a scary concept. A haunted house in space is pretty basic.
Yeah.
But like, it's just these constant little things that disturb the sense of reality enough. Like it's like Kubrick-esque, where like just that green light scene where you're in a confined space, the lighting is creepy, it's visually engaging, and then you know something bad. It's claustrophobia. And then the same with like the eye thing, like sensatory, everything is just one little idea to make everybody just a little more uncomfortable until it just gets the worst.
Yeah. And then you have the first character to get like really possessed, if you will, by the ghost, the alien, the being, hell. I believe his name was oh my goodness, so bad. Someone commented on my stutter recently, and they were like, "Oh my God, you don't stutter as much. That's so great."
Yeah,
and
you
then,
haven't.
But then and then it came back, and I was like, "Shit."
You know what? It's fine.
It's great, but it just makes it harder to speak. Justin, there we go. Baby bear. Good old baby bear.
That's a sad death too. It's fucking brutal.
You have him, and then Mama Bear's like,
they're making eye contact the whole time,
and he's not there because it's and they're like, come on, and he's trapped himself in the place to
because he gets pulled into when they first get there. He gets sucked into liquid blackness of the hell drive. The goo. And then the one dude saves him, the life guard, basically. What he's I'm a lover and a protector and whatever the fuck he said, like where he's like, I'm your lifesaver and your love maker or whatever. He's a sassy dude.
Yeah.
And he goes and he saves him, pulls him out of the thing, and then he's just been out the whole time, and then he starts seizuring, which is scary as shit. Because there's all the like, ugh. And then you see him, he's talking about awful dark, and he's like, if you'd seen the things I've seen coming, and you're like, what is happening? His eyes are all pure black. And then just out of nowhere, the second he locks himself in the airlock, to go out into space, he doesn't have anything on. He presses the button, and the second the noise stops, he's like, where am I?
He's like, Mama Bear, help me.
Because and that's when it gets, because all the other shit's bullshit, nihilism, normal horror movie, like I've seen them, and you're like, yeah, so have we all. But then he's like, what's happening? That's when it gets fucking like tense. And just you see his veins all tightening out like the.
And then you have Miller, because he's outside working on the ship with the other guy, and they're like. He's like, hang on, baby bear, we're coming for you. He's like, put yourself in the fetal position. Take some breath. He's like, my eyes. He's like, shut your eyes.
Oh, and
blood.
the eye.
Oh, the blood. And it's like
squirting out of his eyes. Oh, my God.
And it's just the blood. Like, that's so gnarly.
Yeah.
So gnarly. And
but you see nothing, really.
Yeah.
That's another thing about this movie is you almost see nothing.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Like there's a few, but that's so brutal, and all you're really just seeing is blood.
Yeah.
In space.
So gnarly.
Yeah.
So gnarly.
Shit haunted me for like, it's still to this day, like some of the scenes, like the eye stuff and like that space lock scene freaks me. Like it'll pop into my head every now and then, and I'm just like,
and then like because obviously if you went into space, you would pretty much be dead within like seconds.
Yeah.
This logic is, he can, somersault into space, and then he Miller's like, let me just.
It's a good scene because they do that long shot of him like shooting across and grabbing him. It's really good.
It's so good, and then he's just bleeding profusely from
for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, which I'm like, poor guy, poor baby bear, and then again, Mama Bear she sees her son.
Yeah.
Right?
She does not have a good go.
Does not have a good go. She's chasing him.
Yeah.
Because they're.
Why wouldn't you?
Because why wouldn't you? They're trying to get out because they're like something's weird going on.
Yeah.
We should probably escape. And but she sees her son, and she starts climbing the tower, which is never good.
Never a good idea.
If you have a spacecraft, you always have a tower with a ladder, and
it always needs repairs.
yes, always.
Very
always.
important.
And they're going up the ladder, and she sees her son.
Yeah.
On the other end and she just starts running towards them.
Yeah.
And there's just a big open hole at the end of a hallway. There's no safety things.
No.
It's just this is a huge safety hazard. Who's inspecting this ship? Who's
In fairness, it had been in hell for 7 years. I don't think there's a lot of safety concerns.
That's fair, but still
in the hell dimension based on
just thinking about the logic of it. But I know that breaks the fun of it. But I like to do that. I'm like, where's the safety?
Listen, we should have had some concerns. There could have been some meetings.
Yeah, but she just felt
There were some design flaws in the ship for
Yeah.
sure. If maybe instead of spending all that time etching the gravity drive, we could have built a wall here.
would have been so much easier. But hey, it adds to the vibe. It adds to the, and then we got her just falling to her death.
Yeah.
And
into nothingness.
And
there's
then
so many Sean Pertwee just blows up.
yeah. And
that
then
was a bummer.
That was poor guy. And then you have maybe the gnarliest death where Miller he's like locked himself in the room and he's talking to the one dude. I totally forget his name.
Weir?
Not Weir. No, when he's on like the comm, he's like, "Hey, you gotta keep out for Weir."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I got him. I'll take care of him." And he turns around and Weir's there.
Yeah. He
And
guts him.
He it's I believe no, it's I was like, "Oh, I went 7 and then I went Martyrs." And I was like, "No, it's from Midsummer."
Oh yeah.
Where they strung up, and I was like, I wonder if they took that from Event Horizon because
probably, but it's also a Hannibal thing.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, I was
just
like,
all the guts are just on the ground.
Yeah, but again,
and he's just,
he hasn't done that with anybody else. He's like,
no, Dr. Weir just randomly suddenly becomes Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, you're like you're like the ghost. So he's obviously possessed, but is there a second ghost that's like the or is
I think it's all the ship.
Okay.
So the ship I think is the ghost.
Okay.
In this situation, like the haunted house is always the cabin itself is alive, and full of evil. I think that's the situation with the Event Horizon. The ship itself is possessed by the demons from the other dimension, in the dimensional gateway, which so many by the way, this is the best explanation of interdimensional or of space travel in a movie, because every movie that has tried to explain some form of interdimensional or like fast travel steals this explanation every time, where he does the whole pulls the piece of paper and he's like, bah, here's where you are, here's where you want to go. The quickest way, fold it. And he puts the pencil through the thing.
Yep, I've seen that many times.
Everyone has stolen their explanation because it's the simplest, fucking most fun scene where he's like, okay, I get that you don't understand what we're doing, but and he steals everyone has stolen that explanation in any sci-fi horror movie since then. And I'm sure they didn't come up with it because Stephen Hawking exists.
Yeah. Well, R.I.P. King. I'm just kidding.
I mean, he existed. His work exists.
Yeah.
The kids are still alive. So his name lives on. He probably had some explanations for science stuff.
Yeah.
But either way, in terms of cinema,
it's simple. It works, and if you know it works, why not use it
Yeah.
and expand upon it? Yeah.
But anyway, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Space. Space. We started off Stephen Hawking, and now we just.
Yeah, I got sidetracked with that one.
That's a real one. We're like, allegedly, no, it's real. I just kept writing eyes.
Yeah, it's
Dear
so much
God.
eye stuff.
So much eye stuff.
So much eye
Leave
stuff.
the eyes, and then Weir doesn't have any eyes anymore because he gouged his own
He
eyes
gouged
out.
his own. No, he let his. Well, he did it himself.
Yeah, but
in his mind, his wife is doing it for him.
Yeah.
That's not fun to hear your name when somebody's gouging out eyeballs. By the way, when somebody's like, "It's gonna be okay, Billy," I didn't like that.
Because your name is Billy. So
Yeah. It's not.
Makes it tough.
And you don't hear that name a lot outside of like 50s kids being dumbasses, you know?
That's true.
In film. Billy's not a common name. So to hear that when somebody's getting their eyes gouged out, it'll leave an impression.
You're like, okay, Billy, that's me. Okay, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, Billy, I got your eyes. I got your eyes. Get in there. Good. Okay.
And then they cut to the thing where he's just sitting in the fucking hell room. And
then
he goes on a murder spree.
Because why not?
Why
as
wouldn't you?
As you should.
As a perfectly reasonable scientist who's just here to explore a spaceship would do for no reason out of the blue.
Exactly.
And in a very well-trained and precise fashion, I might add. So.
Oh, wait, the dude exploding. But then we also had the other guy who flew away.
Oh, yeah.
That stressed me. That freaks me out.
Where
more
he
than
just like drifts out. There's nothing to do.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. But he was like, oh.
Did you handle that movie Gravity well?
That should be a horror movie.
Yeah, it's just the void.
Space. I can't think about space too often. Like if I think it's cool and I'm like, that's cool. But if I think about it too hard, it stresses me out. Cause it's just, wait, how are we?
Is it just like
floating?
feeling small, or is it
How
the
are we
vastness?
How are we float? If I think about the Earth just floating, I'm like, how is this?
It's not.
And then
I mean, it is.
and then there could be one day where it just everything falls. What? And then there's no what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
My mind. This is like high thoughts sober, and it's like I hate it. And then I stress out, and then I cry, and then I wake up. And I'm like, I'm good. I take a nap. I'm good. I needed a snack and a nap. I think
get
I'm
that.
Good. Yeah. This high thoughts sober. It's terrifying.
Nobody likes to have to. I think that's what makes the space movies scary.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole idea, is like the isolation and the like. People don't like. That's, I think, the same reason people get afraid of the ocean, and that's the same reason people get afraid of a lot of things.
But the ocean, we know there's a bottom.
I mean, sometimes we don't know all the bottoms. We've not hit most of the bottom. Do you know what I mean?
But we know that there is one because
theoretically,
the center of the Earth.
We've explored 8% of the ocean.
I know that, but
it's 80% of the planet.
Yes. However, the planet itself has eventually you hit something.
I mean, you'd think so.
You think it's just what if the Earth's mantle? Now we're getting into conspiracy theories that I'm just making up. What if the Earth's mantle is like the alien?
The Hell Drive.
The Hell Drive.
I'm kind of convinced at this point.
Oh my God! And then, but you can like go into it, and then it goes into what if it's a black hole? None of this. I don't. My brain hurts.
I think the idea of that vast smallness of ourselves is terrifying to everyone.
Yeah.
But to varying degree.
Yeah.
And when we're forced to like feel like a speck of dust on a mountain, it doesn't sit well in our like.
Yeah.
in our brain because it's too big for any of us. But it is. It exists. We don't need to understand more than that. But I think that's the terrifying idea.
Yeah.
In general, is that there's so much nothing. There's more nothing than something. And that scares the shit out of people.
I mean.
Anyway, good night. No.
Anyways, on that note.
No, but back to the guy just drifting off into space. We got
stressful.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he uses the last of his oxygen to like rocket himself.
Yeah.
To the window, only to see a now fucked up looking weird carved like looking. Honestly, he still wasn't terrible looking. I was like, good for you.
You know, he's holding it together.
I was like, okay. I was like, I'd join. I was like, I'd join. I don't.
You could be persuaded by a carved up Sam Neill.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at it. I was like, you know what? You're not ugly. I have seen worse.
I have
seen worse. Dating apps here. But no, he wasn't bad. But and then he has a harpoon gun thing.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I know that Miller had it, but I don't remember him dropping it. But then he like shoots it into the window.
Yeah.
But then that's the logic then. Then why does Miller and oh crap, what's her name? The lady. Stark, because she's also in that scene too.
Yeah.
Why don't their eyes start bleeding?
You'd think so. That's okay, that's a loophole.
Right?
That's one of them continuity
right?
thingamadoodles. Yeah, why didn't their eyes start bleeding? You make a valid point.
I don't know, but I was like, so it's like an airplane? It's just super windy?
They really didn't pay any attention to science or facts
which
or
is
thoughts.
Fine. Again, that's fine. That's something I noticed because I pick up on that stuff and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. But again, it didn't detract from the stressfulness of I need to get to this door.
Yeah.
Because it's going to shut. Oh no, Stark is calling my name. I need to help her. And then it's going to close.
There was that he's trying to pull her through so she doesn't get decapitated. Yeah, they made a choice there. At some point she was supposed to get decapitated.
I was waiting for it.
And I'm guessing the door didn't work. And so they just went, all right, let's.
So this movie was actually, it was cut down a lot. And the director said that he cut down maybe 10 minutes too much. But it was way gorier, way more violent. So I wonder if that was a scene because it was that I was expecting
a door severance.
Oh yeah.
It's the whole point of having that creepy door. You're not going to cut somebody in half with it. What the hell you got it for? You spent all the time carving and etching this bullshit to make it nightmare fuel. Also was disappointed that fucking window, the saw round, the tunnel thing that they got to go through.
Yeah.
No one got cut up in that. What a waste.
Saw tunnel. For why?
Why?
For why? Just for funsies.
For funzos.
For funzos. It was just, it looked pretty, and that's all that matters. It's.
What other movies did Paul Anderson direct? Did he do RoboCop?
I'm gonna look. Oh, also, this is a completely different topic. As I look up his other movies, we have Resident Evil.
Okay.
Event Horizon, Death Race, the Three Musketeers.
Terrible.
Monster Hunter.
That was good.
Death Race 4.
Terrible.
A lot of Resident Evil. A lot of Alien vs. Predator.
Oh, he's that guy. Okay. He did those Resident Evil movies because he's married to Mila Jovovich, or was at one point.
So this is something that I also wanted to say before as we are slowly wrapping up. The biggest thing that I think was that's different from normal space movies where someone, is taken over by an alien or whatever, or like possession movies, is that he's British.
Yeah.
I think that's also part of the charm, and also the creepiness.
Yeah.
Because even in like is it the Mummy? No, what movie is it? There's like another like alien like possession thing where he's like British.
Oh, in Alien, the
Is it
robot,
Alien?
the bad guy robot. Has Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
Is the robot
Yeah.
in Alien, and
Yeah.
he's all evil sounding because
Yeah.
he's British.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm sorry, Mother won't allow me to let you stop this or whatever. And
I
it's
love
terrifying, and
a
then he's all
British
milky.
villain. I
Yeah.
love a British villain. I
Yeah.
want more British. I think British should only be villains.
That's most colonialism movies. We historically place them in a villain category, because of that war we had to get free.
The what?
You know how we used to be British?
What?
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 Yeah, we used to be British, and then things happened, and then, we don't like them. We shouldn't have a problem with them, but we still are bitter.
Yeah, that's
America.
America.
Is a teenager on a skateboard in the house.
And the house is actually a ship that's haunted. It has a really elaborate doohickey in the middle. That
fucking thing.
Why is there water? That's just.
I still don't
Where
understand.
does the water come from? But on that note, out of 10.
7.5 out of 10.
Why?
Because it dates itself a little bit in some of the things,
Yeah.
and because there's so many where you're like, why the fuck does that happen? You can't do that. Like, that stuff detracts enough from it. When I was a younger dude, I would have put that at a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But as you hindsight
Yeah.
degrades the legacy a
Yeah.
little bit. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. I would go a 7.
Okay.
I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect when I walked into it. It had a little bit of a slow start for me. Could be the fact that I was also exhausted, and I was watching this last night, and I had to start it. I kept being like, okay, I need to go back 20 minutes. I don't remember what just happened, so I had to do that a couple times.
Yeah.
But once I got it, I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
like, I wanted like all the ghost stuff earlier. I'm like, put more in it.
Yeah.
More ghost stuff.
If they'd
add more crew members.
If
kill
they'd
more of them.
started the movie instead of all the stuff at the beginning, if they just start the movie at the meeting where they're going to rescue the ship.
Yep.
Where it's all of them, and here's Dr. Weir, he's coming with us, and just started the movie there,
Yep.
and then let it get more fucked up from there.
It
You know
would
what
be
I'm
fine.
saying?
Yeah.
Way better
Yeah.
film. I think that would have gotten it a higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was great. So
Fun.
I also have to ask you this silly little thing. Were you afraidy or not afraidy?
I was indeed afraidy.
You were
I
afraidy.
was so afraidy. I was afraidy for a decade by this movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
Very afraidy.
afraidy.
Yeah. It creeped me out. I'll say afraidy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say I was afraidy at parts. But the whole movie,
I'm not scared.
I'm not like, oh, I can't go to.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. It's like,
Yeah.
no, I can't. I'm gonna go back to
Right.
my normal life, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
What this movie does is give you nightmares.
Yes.
Surreal nightmares.
Yes.
And that sometimes is equally as scary as fucking that ability to get in your head, and now you're worried about demon things that aren't real in a
Yep.
very implanted in your cerebral, and that's scary as fuck.
Yeah, and who knew? I was afraid of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was afraid of the eye stuff. And I'm like, wow, here we are. We learn something new every day. Well, Bailey, it's been a delight. This is the time of the show where you plug your stuff.
You guys, right now, eye syphilis is a real problem in this country. Women can no longer get cum on their faces without worrying about syphilis in their eyes.
Oh my God.
Go to freestdcheck.org and find out if you have eye syphilis today. Or you, vice versa, You could also just come see the Riff Raff. It's at the Comedy Store. Go buy a ticket. I don't care. Find me on social medias. You'll figure it out. You're smart people.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you so much, Billy. That was we learned a lot. That was educational.
Did you know if you get it in your eyes, the reason it burns is because the stuff is still trying to actually make your eyeballs pregnant?
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Just burrowing.
Yeah.
Eye stuff. A lot of eye stuff in this episode.
No thanks. No more eye stuff ever again on this podcast. But thank you to our sponsors, if we still have them after this. Fangoria, we love you, Fangoria. Want a copy? Use code Katie Afraidy 25 for 25% off. Filmcraft studio gear. Find them at filmcraftla.com or on Instagram at filmcraftla. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz. Katie Afraidy across all social media platforms. We're also on Patreon for extended episodes, exclusives, and stickers. What more could you want? And to wrap up, I like to give good or shitty advice regarding the movie. It's usually just off the top of my head, and you gave some pretty good advice about syphilis, which is important. But it's just important for those who need to know that. But regarding the movie, with some good advice, I guess don't go to space. If your spacecraft is the size of a football field and you walk in and the engine is a ball above water, kind of like hovering and shit, I would leave. I'm gonna be fully honest. I'd leave. I'd be like, you know what? Thank you so much. I'm gonna get out of here. And just leave. And just, you know what? Fuck everybody else. Don't even, you can fuck them if you want, but, just get out of there. It's pretty good advice. Yeah.
Don't go to space.
Period. Yep. And on that note, guys, we will see you next time. Stay spooky.
My fears. Vacate, I want off this ship.